everybody, and welcome to Library Pickups. This is a new series I'm doing here on Smug Film YouTube. Each episode, I just talk about movies I rented from the library, what I thought of them. And I love the library. I think I've talked about that on the show. I've talked about it on the site and blog posts. But basically, the library right now, in its current form, it's the best video store that's ever existed. People always talk about how they miss video stores and that feel of back in the day and going through aisles and picking things up physically and looking at them, finding stuff they couldn't find anywhere else. You know, if it's a mom and pop place, you always have that experience. And libraries right now, you get that vibe and it's fucking free. You can go in there with no money in your pocket, come out with 10 DVDs, because you can get out 10 DVDs at a time, at least here in New York City. I don't know the exact rules everywhere, but here in New York City, that's what you can do. And you get them out for 7 days at a time. And you can renew them online for as long as you want, as long as nobody has like a hold on them or whatever. But usually people don't, because nobody takes advantage of this service. And they really should, because it's great. So hopefully this series will inspire you. I almost said expire. I hope this series doesn't expire you. It'd be a shame if you died, because I need your viewership and I need your listenership on the Smug Film Podcast. Point being, I hope this inspires you to actually go to the library and rent movies. Because a lot of times I find stuff that isn't available on Netflix Instant or anywhere else. You can only get it at the library, renting it. And that's the case with every movie that I talk about here. It's all stuff you can't get on Netflix or anywhere else. You can only get them by actually physically renting it or buying it on Amazon, which you're not going to do. So just rent them for free and then you get to see them. It's wonderful. So first one is Adult Beginners, which is a movie with Nick Kroll, Rose Byrne, Bobby Cannavale, Joel McHale. The thing about this movie is I couldn't finish it. I mean, if you know anything about me, you know that I don't always finish movies. Talked about that on the podcast, talked about that on the site. And point being, there are a lot of movies in this world. If I'm not particularly in the mood for a movie, if I'm not feeling it, it doesn't really give it justice for me to keep watching it if I'm not on its wavelength. Maybe I'll like it later on. Who knows? Maybe there's one day where I will like Adult Beginners. But as it stands right now, I only got like maybe 19 minutes into it. It's a comedy. It's about Nick Kroll. You know, he's like a businessman, and then he loses all his money and he moves in with his sister and he's taking care of their kid. And it has one of those plots where it's like it basically could be like a Tyler Perry plot or something. It's that kind of like bare bones family kind of thing, which can be good when it's done well. But this feels like a comedy where they forgot to write the jokes. They forgot to put jokes in. Like they had the bare outline and then they forgot to stick in jokes, which can be fine if you're going to stick in like good improv or come up with jokes on the spot or get real loose with it. And it just feels like a very rigid movie. It's very dull. I'm not the only one who feels this way. I took a look at the reviews online. A lot of people seem to feel exactly the way I did. So this isn't one that I would recommend checking out. Don't check out Adult Beginners. Avoid that one. It's too dull for anybody. I can't see anybody really liking this one unless you're like a huge Nick Kroll fan, huge Bobby Cannavale fan. You just want to see anything they're in whatsoever. If you have some weird, dark, twisted obsession with them, or with Rose Byrne. You know, Rose Byrne's gorgeous. I could see people having a twisted, dark obsession where they just need to see everything she's in because they just have some sick obsession. If that's you, this movie's for you. You know, you'll get something out of it that the normal viewing public won't. Point being, don't rent this one. Not so good. All right, so this one is actually one that was pretty good. Backcountry. All right. It's a bear horror movie, and all I had to hear was that, and I was sold. I like bears. I like bear horror. I like bear suspense. You know, I like that movie, The Edge. You know, the David Mamet scripted The Edge with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin. That's a fun one. So I like bear movies, you know, just in general. Grizzly Man, great documentary. So Backcountry, it's got the girl from Reaper. It's got the love interest from Reaper. She's fun. I like seeing her. She's pretty good. And it's got some other guy. And it's got Eric Balfour. Remember Eric Balfour? He's rocking like facial hair like I am in this movie, which is pretty cool. Nice little solidarity. I like seeing solidarity in the world. And me and Eric Balfour, same wavelength, facial hair, 2015. Who knew? I wouldn't have known if I hadn't watched Backcountry, but that's not the only reason it's good. It's a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's got really great moments that are kind of worth checking out the whole movie for. It's got some really good, like, when they try and blend like CGI and real stuff and doesn't really work in most cases, really works in this one. Surprisingly, it blends. It works. I liked it. But I can't fully endorse it because the plot is, bare bones, pun unintended, but I'm gonna retroactively intend it because that was pretty clever. Plot is pretty bare bones. funny. And the pacing, because of that, the pacing's a little erratic. It's almost like, you think it's gonna start getting into something, and then 10, 15 minutes, nothing happens. And then, it's going to get into something. And then it just kind of has this like up and down pace where it's like slow start. And, like anything in the world, that can be good if it's effective, if it works, but it doesn't really work here. I would have preferred it to be like a slow build and then boom, 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 boom for the rest. Like last 20 minutes, I wanted to just be fucking insane. And there's some insane stuff, but then it just kind of fizzles out. So it is worth seeing. I want to stress that. Eric Balfour actually gives like a really good performance, by the way. Eric Balfour, double thumbs up. One thumb up for the facial hair, the other thumb up for the actual pretty good performance there, guy. And our main girl, the Reaper girl, she's pretty awesome in it. And, just watch it. It's bare horror. I think it's like 90 minutes, if that. What does it say here? 92 minutes. Yeah. You could do worse. You want to see bears attacking people? That's the movie for you. Go for it. Next one is 71. Is a Jack O'Connell movie. I like Jack O'Connell. I liked him in Eden Lake. I liked him in Harry Brown, 2 very good movies. And he's usually a character you don't root for, but in this one, you're really rooting for him, which is weird. And I wasn't used to that. And he's just a tremendous actor, and you really do root for him. He doesn't really have much to do in this film. It's one of those movies where it's just a guy trying to survive, essentially. He's behind enemy lines, and he's trying to stay safe. And there's a lot of double crossing in this movie. It's a good movie, but all that double crossing, all that like, who do you trust? It becomes very convoluted, and I would have appreciated something a little bit more simple with this one, because the plot itself, it's very simple. It's just a soldier behind enemy lines trying to survive, and I wish I had just kept to that, especially because it's pretty short. How long is it? 99 minutes. All right, so not terribly short, but even as it stands, it could have lost like 10 minutes. You could have cut 10 minutes easily. Would have been fine. Best thing I could say about it has one of the most effective explosion scenes I've ever seen in a movie. Like really, really effective, and like jarring. Like I wasn't ready for it. I was like, oh my God. Like just extraordinarily well done that. And in general, a well done movie. It's too complicated for its own good. So I got to detract a couple points for that, but definitely worth checking out. Sorry about that. My camera stopped recording. I forgot because I'm using the old T2i to shoot this, and I forgot the whole limit where it's like 4 gig limit, whatever. I don't know. Technical stuff. Nothing to do with you. Nothing you would ever care about. You're here for movies. So the last movie is The Brood. Cronenberg movie, right? Should be good. I think it's like his first film or his second film. I'm not exactly sure. Don't feel like IMDbing it right now and having you wait as I scroll and check. But I actually fell asleep while watching this one, which is rare for me. So I didn't finish this one. It's very dull. Remember what I said about adult beginners being dull? Where this one makes adult beginners feel like backcountry. There. Makes it feel like backcountry. Makes adult beginners feel like a bear is chasing you. It's just a very dull film. I can't really recommend it because, of course, didn't finish it, didn't really like it. Lulled me. That was nice. But like, I'm not in the minority here. Like, I have friends that really dig this one, but I went and looked up Ebert's review, and he gave it 1 out of 4. And he had basically the same complaints I did, where it's just a very dull movie. He obviously finished the whole thing, so he got to the ending, and he said he was disappointed when the film started ramping up. He didn't think it was good. He called it very exploitation-y, which, he sometimes calls movies exploitation-y and marks them down. I think he gave is it I Spit on Your Grave, or one of the other ones where he gave like 0 stars famously, but so who knows if I would agree with him on where this movie ends up, but I certainly agree with him on what I saw of it. It's just very dull, and it's one of those movies where like you're not sure the relation of everybody to everyone right at the start. And so you're a little off kilter trying to catch up. It feels like a movie you're constantly trying to catch up, figuring out like who everybody is and what's going on. It doesn't really spell anything out for you. Not that the movie necessarily should, and not that there is a merit to a movie of that type, but it didn't work with me. And there are movies of that type that it does work, like some Michael Haneke stuff is like that, and it works for me. But this in particular didn't work. I'll probably finish it someday, unlike Adult Beginners. I'll probably finish The Brood someday, but right now I'm just not into it, and I don't really want to finish it, so I'm not going to finish it. So anyway, that's the end of library pickups for this week. Next week or the week after, or whenever I do this again, whenever I rent movies and watch them again, because I don't strictly do library stuff each week. But maybe I will. If you guys like this, maybe I'll just do this every week. So give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave something in the comments. Let me know if there's any library stuff that you think I should check out, or you checked out recently, or whatever. Let me know. I'll rent it. Whatever. It's free. I can rent 10 at a time, so I really have no excuse not to listen to your recommendations. And also definitely subscribe. And if you're not familiar with the Smug Film Podcast, if by some reason, beyond me, you're watching this video right now and you have no idea who I am, I'm Cody Clark. I host the Smug Film Podcast. Go to smugfilm.com. There's all sorts of reviews, interviews, essays on that site as well. And definitely check us out. iTunes or whatever else, listen to us. Smug Film Podcast. And thank you all for watching. See you soon.